For many billions of years it flourished and matured in the oceans until it swam out of the waters onto the land. It crawled from land up onto the trees and flew off trees up into the air until it covered the entire earth. Souls in heaven were patiently waiting for subtle brains to evolve on earth so that reincarnation could begin and life could be meaningfully experienced. We used evolved brains to control evolving animals, much like a modem is used to control machines remotely. Souls downloaded to brains shortly before birth. They take with them only identification and leave all memories of past lives behind. It is much like downloading an empty, ready-to-use operating system to a computer. During their experience of life in mortal bodies, souls accumulate data. On death, they return to heaven with their life data to review it, learn from it, and share it. Souls reincarnated into animals were ruled by instinct and were deaf and blind to any intuition from heaven. Most souls coming back from animals did not ever want to go back as animals, preferring to passively observe nature from the comforts of heaven. One curious creature called man evolved from the monkey. He had the ability to use two upper limbs freely as he was walking on the other lower two. He was able to walk erect and gaze at the stars and wonder at its vastness and meaning. Because of that, he developed a very large brain that necessitated being born premature and needed total support of both parents for the first few years. One parent nourished while the other nurtured. They had many children, formed families, communities, and tribes. Man evolved very dexterous fingers to draw, write, play, and caress and fight with, and a very flexible tongue to sing and talk with. He evolved a very imaginative mind to use his fingers to make meaningful toys and to use his tongue to say meaningful words. Man had great speaking skills and could imitate the sounds of all other animals, making very complex sounds with even more complex meanings. Many families developed their own style and sound of speech and could not understand the speech from other families. As man increased in numbers, families grouped into tribes, and the various tribes often spoke different tongues and could not understand each other. Speech united people who spoke the same tongue and divided people who spoke different tongues. Speech allowed knowledge to be shared and accumulated and expanded. We notice that while all other animals feared fire and stayed away from it, man was curious and he observed fire and saw that fire, like life, needed to be fed in order to live and grow. Some men compassionately fed baby fires to keep them alive and to see them grow. Some men tamed fire and domesticated it. They used fire against the cold and the dark and vicious animals. They saw that they could blow life into a dead fire. It fired their imagination and they thought about their own birth, life, and death. The power of a wild raging fire awed them. The warmth and light of a tamed fire comforted and protected them. Fire gave them power and hope. Sitting by the warmth of a fire, gazing into its dancing flames, and looking up into the sky and seeing the stars made them think about God. Fire was like angels of the sun that protected and kept them warm at night. Souls in heaven feared that the knowledge of fire would be just as much a curse as a blessing. We envisioned that with fire, man could develop technology that could eventually lead to destruction. We foresaw man reach to levels that would destroy nature, leading to its extermination, or to independence of it, leading to his immortality. Messages were sent down to a few influential men to be aware of knowledge, like warning a child not to play with fire. We warned him that if he gets too smart, he will have such a big brain that it will cause great pain in bearing children. We warn man that if he plays with technology, he will kill nature and greatly suffer dire consequences. We warn man that eating from the fruits of knowledge will cause him to be like God and eventually cause him to be separated from us. The call to reincarnation. Whenever someone is about to be born on earth, there is a call in heaven for any souls wanting to reincarnate. From the time of conception till the time of birth, a soul is chosen to reincarnate into this newborn. Souls must leave their past lives behind when they reincarnate. Any lingering memory is quickly forgotten in a new forming brain. Once reincarnated, their only contact with heaven is through their intuition. They are free to choose what they believe is right from what they believe is wrong. The knowledge of good and bad is available to them. Before they leave for their trip, they are given a farewell party. They are reminded it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. And getting there is more important than arriving. They are sent off, told to do their best in playing the game of life and to bring back as good a life experience as they can, with lots of knowledge, excitement, pleasure, and rewards to share with all souls in heaven.